Hi, everybody. We're live. Yes. I'm going to start and give people a chance to get uh, in the chat and on the show. We got five of you. I knew there were five of you at least from the comments already. And I got some questions that have already got placed to banner and talk about. And but I'm going to talk a little bit before, once we get to being a minute in, I'm going to talk a little bit about what is this shift that everybody keeps talking about? And why have you felt crummy since forever? I've been taping already some of the nine candle presentations. When you see them, they'll be run as premieres. And the people who are meeting with me to light the candles, all I asked them to do was we talked about I sent them the different articles I had about the energy in space. And then they could kind of talk about however they were feeling it and sensing it. And that's why I'm going to say, hi, Dr. Gale. Um, I'm going to talk about some notes I had. I'd done a show on frequency and changing your vibration back in 21. And I went back into my notes from that show because there was a whole lot of discussion of ascension changes and how people were manifesting that in their own system and how it was working for them. And I'm going to go into that. That's what I'm going to start with today. First of all, I want to really thank everybody who's showing up. I want to thank all the people who sent love and light to Dr. Maggie. She is not out of the ICU yet. She went in for routine procedure and it went sideways, and she's going to be okay. Her sister's flying in today to come help take care of her. But she's going to be fine. She's going to heal. But it's just one of those, you never know from day to day what's going to fall into your life. And I'm going to send her sister all the comments from the people who commented on when I asked for prayers for her the other day. That's when she really needed it. Um, and she's pulling out of it. She's going to be okay. But so her, short of having something like what happened to her, these are the sorts of things that I'm hearing from people when I'm talking to them about where do we go from here. And this shift is, I'll just tell you, there are some people who theorize that this shift we're changing from being totally carbon based to being crystalline and carbon based. And that has to do with being able to shift and see at the higher frequencies. And I'm going to show a way to use a frequency chart with a pendulum to check your frequency today. That's one of my other things to do. But anyway, here's kind of a laundry list of what we've all been going through. And when I did the last round of candles in March, there was everybody was really coming out of January and February. There were so many heavy planetary positions, and everybody said they were feeling exhausted, feeling irritable, angry. Sometimes people were feeling lonely and sad. They weren't sure, and they were frustrated. A lot of them were waking up between 2 and 4 at night, which is sort of the time in the night that your soul kind of goes like chickens go free range, your soul goes free range during those times of night. And these were all changes, signs of changes of going towards the ascension. Why? Well, one concept says that we're actually changing from being a carbon based uh, to being crystalline. And I'll show you. This is like your DNA if you've never seen it close up. Most people have. But there's just a couple of atoms that changes some of these very carbon elements to being silicon or silicate and making us crystalline. And that's one of the ideas of what's going on. Also, if you follow um, Joe Dispenza, he has done a lot of work with pineal gland, firing it up, the little peanut gland that's right behind your third eye in your brain, and working it with light energy. And that's actually, I did a whole bunch of his work with that, and that's a part of how I got past my asthma that had bothered me since I'd had pneumonia. A list of some of the more common symptoms that appear to be things we've had for a long time. Depression, feel like you're in a pressure cooker, that kind of depression that there's no way out. And depression is when you're looking backwards and you're getting worried about what hasn't happened there. Then another big symptom right now is people who don't have anxiety are feeling anxiety and they're feeling panic. And it's an overload because you're being hyper watchful. You know something's changing, so you're trying to be really hyper watchful about it. This one is not one I've had, but food cravings. And food cravings are, you feel like there's a hole, something that needs to be filled, and so you're trying to fill it with food. I can tell you from when I used to have food cravings, that doesn't work. But, that's another symptom that's going on right now. Also, I was reading an article from 21, and I read one that was recently published. And weird aches and pains are showing up in your body. And what it is, it's a muscle memory of some trauma, and your body's kind of letting it go. So look at that. And then we're releasing blocked 3D energy. And this is one that I haven't suffered from either, but they said a lot of people are having skin eruptions. If they haven't, you thought you were going to have something between acne and old age on your face, and all of a sudden the acne's all back. And they're saying that those kind of skin eruptions, or if you're the sort of person that carries tension in your stomach, you might be having stomach trouble. And then heart pain and palpitations. And that's what I went through 2 years ago when I was shifting all over the place. And along with those collections of things, these are all things, if you have skin eruptions and stomach trouble, if it's bad enough, go see your doctor. And, you can say, this is going on, how can you help me? Heart pain and palpitations is always worth having it checked out. It could be signs of ascension, and in my case, they were. I mean, we found a whole lot of nothing when they strapped everything up to me. But if it had been a whole lot of something, I'd rather know. The common ones are dizziness, tinnitus, and dizziness and tinnitus are linked to when we're getting downloads of a lot of new information for us to handle. At least I know that's how the readers feel with it. I think it's true of the sensitives in our community. And then this is the one that I got caught with in February and March. Deep sleeping 12 hours a night and just not feeling like it was nearly enough sleep. And finally, when I got over it and just said, okay, I'm just going to surrender to it, I didn't feel bad about it. I just had to do other things when I was upright much more quickly. But the deal is, during this shift, these are sort of the ways your body may feel it negatively, because our bodies don't like to grow. Sometimes growth as an adult is much more difficult. When I was in graduate school, my oldest son, who's now 48, to tell you how long ago it was, I was trying to figure out calculus. And I didn't know you're supposed to take trigonometry first. So I had a little trig book next to the calculus book, and I was basically figuring it out without the proper background. But I was just bound and determined I was going to figure it out. And then one day I just threw my hands up and I said, I just can't do this. This is too hard. And this is when Sean was learning to walk. And I watched that baby that whole day pull himself up, fall back down on his butt, and try again. And finally I realized, there's a time in my life when I couldn't walk. And I probably went through all of the things he was doing. He was not one of those graceful children that just leaped off like Baryshnikov or Nureyev and started dancing across the room. He was like my other kids, kind of took him a while. And as I watched him struggle with it, I realized we forget those struggles. We forget how hard we work to be an upright human being. Nancy Cass-Tureau, she had chest pains in 2018. 2 weeks later, she had a triple bypass. I'm not kidding. I mean, you're going to read all these things. This is what the Ascension's about. It can be. And, Lord, I hope for you, your sake, that it is. But I went and got mine checked out. I wasn't going to screw around with it. Anyway, to make a long story short, I passed calculus. He learned how to walk, and we all moved on. But if we could just remember how hard the struggle is to go through those changes, but uh, that's just kind of some of the symptoms that are going on, and I want to talk about that. I also was going to show you, I rolled for what today was going to be like for us. And we got marvelous stones. We got the mind in the heart, and that said that the heart is opening up our mind to new changes. We have a fear that there's some fear that's coming around from the false with our spirit. It's like so much is broiling and changing all at once that we don't feel, our spirit doesn't feel like it used to feel. It's going to feel freer, but we just have to let it have a chance to do that. We have our body is also kind of in a ditzy space, but it's listening to your look at previous forms that served you well when you went through high changes, and you'll come out of this okay. Our clarities and go for it, which I just love. Now's the time to move on our intuitions, not on once you've ruled out everything else, accept that it's spirit and that you're moving forward. And then in our third eye, we have our values. That's kind of a fun place for it. And it says, brings an abundance into life, including manifesting your vision. So you've got these strong things saying, manifest your vision. You're having parts of you that are arguing with you about whether to go for it. No, go for it. Go for it and try to get there. And then I'm going to take, this question was off the board. Hi, she says, we're neighbors. I live just north on Texas A&M. I know a couple different things for Texas A&M that are around me. She's been having prophetic dreams. Last night she dreamed 9/23. I am thinking September 2023. Why have I been dreaming about numbers? Well, we're going to check out her intuition, and we're going to bring out something I've been promising people. I bring out the dowsing chart that Danny and I worked on. And I know it's kind of hard to see. You can get a copy of this. If you go to my website, it says resources. If you open up that, you'll find a way to pull this PDF down. And the part that's hardest to see is here. So I'm going to put this up on the screen. Okay. That little triangle is a reproduction of this, which is a frequency chart. I'm going to hide your statement because it blocks the chart. And when you get up to 700 to 1,000 vibes, your energy, your frequency, you're in enlightenment and you're in peace and joy, love, and reason. And then when I first started doing this, I was down in the acceptance, willingness, and neutrality. That was 3 or 4 years ago. But by saying I'd have a day and I'd feel like it was a good day, I'd pull out my chart, which I'm not going to get this off of here. I'd pull out my chart and I'd say, okay, what's my frequency right now? And I'm going to use a slightly larger pendulum because I think it's easier for y'all to see. Okay. Okay, where's my vibration right now? Vibration right now. Okay. From here to here, it goes from 10 to 100. But you add another 0 to figure out your frequency. So my frequency went right over to 1,000, which I would expect and hope if I'm talking with you. So what we're going to do now is bring her question back. Is her prophetic number September 2023? Yes. Is it actually the 23rd of September? No, it's the whole month of September. So what you were seeing, what it is prophetic, it is in the future, Linda, and it has to do with September, this coming September, not a specific date in that September. Now we're going to go to banners. And what I'd asked you all to do was to, um, I'd ask you to say in comments if you wanted to put in, I'm going to put, when I reset up, because this is where the candles will be, and I had to clear it up so I could do some other stuff with it. And I have only 3 more candles to light, 7, 8, and 9. And I have one tomorrow, one the day after, and then I have one on the 31st. So they're pre-taped as premieres, but what I'm going to do is every night when I run those premieres, I'm going to have a list of the things that this group in particular thinks we ought to be looking at in this shift, and the things, so we can place our intentions there. And so the first one I got was from Rohanna, releasing our belief in separation. That's true, because when we believe we get separated from other people, that's when fear takes over. And I know that when I finally came to understand how I was connected to all of it, I've never felt alone since then, and I've not been afraid to talk about the things I need to talk about, And like, I can't say that to a bunch of people I don't know. I do feel like I know you, but it really is. So releasing our belief in separation from one another, and try to deal with compassion for people whose views might be significantly different for you. And this sort of goes the same thing, the oneness with all in the multiverse. And I think that's really going to become important in this shift, that we're going to realize how much more of a multiverse we live in and how we relate to it. And Sinmin wrote this to me. She said, today I drew the spirit, this was yesterday, this was 20 hours ago. I drew the spirit owl from White Light Oracle. The calibration to higher order of a divine purpose is in progress. Be safe. It's safe to be fearless as you gently hold your space for the new way. And they had a couple other statements, but basically that covers what it says. I love that thought, so I'm going to put that on the list too. And then, and then people love the picture that I posted to announce this show. And this is the last comment about what they wanted to be included as the intention, and it's leveling up. When I first started reading energy over here, I didn't come over here all the time. I kind of came out here and different things. And it's by working with this and learning that feels good, that energy feels right, that I learned how to get over to the thousands. And I don't try to push myself to go beyond the thousands. I'm just so happy that I'm there. So we're going to go look at comments. And hi, Dr. Gail. Hi, Eliza. G. Covington. Lori, Liz, Helene Robinson. Hello. And she's got all kinds of, do they show up? Yes. Just all kinds of pretty things she attached for us. Yes, keep Dr. Maggie in your attentions, please. Okay. How does anyone deny energy shifts when the full moon affects crime? Well, I'll tell you, we've had the moon and we've had all those, and we've had sunspots at times, but we are having when you watch the 9 candles, you'll hear us describe all the ways the energies coming in and changing us. And it's a little like this. We're just sitting here on the earth and look what's coming at us, And by the way, when you see this graphic, it's going to have a couple changes done to it. But this is a graphic that's going to be the notification for my premieres for the thing. Okay, and then people always ask, when are you doing this? I'm on Saturday, this next Saturday. On Did I make a thing for this? No, I didn't. Okay. On Saturday at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be doing a premiere of the first round of the 9 candles, but it's an introduction. You're going to get to see the candles. We're going to talk about what's on the board. We're going to talk about why. This time it's multicolored candles instead of red or green. And Danny did it with me because he did the last time I did 9 candles. We found out if we did a day to introduce it, it made it easier for people who hadn't been through it before. And even if they've been through it before, it's kind of like, I'm here, what am I doing? So you're going to see my shiny face, my purple hair, and Danny's big long ponytail. That's the first day. The next day, one, which will be on Sunday, and they'll be between the 30th to August 7th. And the reason I didn't do a candle lighting on 8/8 is I want each person to figure out where they think they should be going. And I do agree, it'd be great if it was all leveling up. That would be wonderful. Oh dear. Okay. And I have so far Dorothy Morgan's day 1, Dr. Gale is day 2, Andre Carr is day 3, Lilac Lantern's day 4, Linda G is day 5, Sheila's day 6, and then these 3 I haven't taped yet, but I know I'm going to do them. They're going to be Kim Carey and Ann Perry. Ann Perry I'm taping tomorrow, and Kim Carey I'm going to tape one of the last days, but she'll be on either 7 or 8. And then 9 is going to be someone some of you may know, some of you may not. It's a woman named, she's a therapist named Kathy McConnell. And the reason I'm having her on is because we're talking about energy shifts affecting us and energy far away coming in from 2 black holes that are sending a giant hum at us to a ton more sunspots, a lot of photonic energy that's pouring onto the earth. And we're getting hit with these waves of energy. That's how energy comes at us. It comes at us in waves. And a wave is described as a repeating disturbance or movement that of any energy through space and matter. So all this stuff's going through us. And when I started following ley lines 2.5 years ago, they were not that wide. They could kind of flow with this. They kind of did a tidal shift with the moon. They're very important in parts of the world where they've been used for a long time. They're very powerful energy points. But in the last year, most of the ley lines have more than doubled in width, and some more than that. It used to be they'd stick straight for about 2 days before and 2 days after the equinoxes and the solstices. Now they're getting straight 30 days before. And the reason they know this is if over in England, there's whole groups of people, that's all they do. They go out and they measure their ley lines every day. They watch over them. They look for changes. They're going through some massive changes. It's like the earth is tightening its seatbelt. And it's with all this energy coming in. And so, and it's energy beyond all the difficult things we've been through. And we kind of, this is so beyond the mortal sort of political stuff that's going on around us, but that kind of gets all confused in the energy around this. But the energy is actually coming from outer space. There actually are things that are changing inside of us. And, one of the things I followed was the killer whales are now trying to be killer whales. They're trying to eat the boats and attack the boats that have attacked them. And then after that, I found out about they're sea lions, I think, but they're stealing the surfboards from. Let's see if I have a slide of that one. Um, they're actually stealing people's surfboards when they fall off of them in parts of California. And people have surfed forever. No one's ever reported that a critter came to take their surfboard. So either they're getting smarter, more observant, and much better trained, or there's some shifts happening in their DNA and they're moving too. So let's see if I can. Hi, Angla. Finland's in the house. And there are people reporting in when they've had strange chest pains. They go get them checked out. It's a good idea because you'll rest easier if you do that. Okay, G. Covington. My boss is secretly closing down the company. I plan to leave before that happens. I really kind of don't know, but I'll do a pendulum on him. I know you're concerned about him. What he does is his company's business. I don't know why he's closing it down. Okay, and away. Okay, I'm going to have to do it and show you what I'm doing because that would make more sense. Okay. It's G. Covington's boss going to rip off vendors he owes money to. Yeah. But that's not your problem. Your problem is to get your head clear of what you're going through and the deception that's around you and pull your own energy up. And that's kind of good separation from you because that's been in the background of the business. It's good for you. And let's see. Nancy Cass says, thanks to everything. What was part of the Taurus Scorpio node transit stop and start? And what will leave? Okay. It's hard for me to really talk about the last nodes because my sun is in Taurus and my ascendant's in Scorpio. So no matter what happened during that 18 months, stuff happened. But I'll tell you what you can look at. Aries and Libra. Aries is, if you look on a astrological chart, Aries is the first house, and it's I am. It's where our sense of self begins. Libra is where we work with groups or work with others beyond ourselves, because the first 6 houses are I am is Aries, I have is Taurus, I think is Gemini, I feel is Cancer, and sort of the big fat outer ego is Leo. And then I can't remember. I'm blanking. I used to have this completely in my brain, but I'm not an astrologer. Anyway, Scorpio and Taurus. Scorpio is a lot of things coming out from underground. Taurus is about how we have things, how we hold on to things, what we want to strongly possess. The feelings that are going to be raised by Aries and Libra is who I am as an individual, and also how am I going to work with groups beyond me. And Libra wants justice. It wants things to be balanced. And there's a ton of really good videos on this nodal change. I'm kind of blanking on that information because I've been working on the energy stuff. But I know if you go to Pam Gregory, P-A-M, Gregory, an Englishwoman, she had a really nice, as I remember, pretty concise explanation of what's going on. She also tells how you can look back in your own chart, and these things roll around every 18 years. And the last time that the nodes were in Aries and Libra, in that 18-month period, my husband died, my mother died. I completely changed careers, not the job skill sets, but just the communities in which I was working, um, and just completely built myself into a whole different way of being. And that's when I went, at the end of that 18 months is when I went in and started really working extremely heavily on the Obama campaign. So, but it was a rough start with losing. I lost my husband had the stroke that eventually led to his death the same day I started my new job in politics. I guess he didn't want to be around for it. I've never been sure, but if you can look back where you were 18 years ago, that will help you kind of figure out. And I'm hoping that the other thing that happens in that cycle is you learn what you learn from that. So I'm kind of headed in a new direction, and it pretty much did happen. I did a show with Andre Carr, and I am now booked with the grids and readings through the end of August. His people off his show just poured on over, and I still open up every day. I open up my emails, and I'm getting more requests for how do I do this and how do I find out about that. So that happened right as the nodes moved. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the same. I hope it's not as chaotic as it was from 04 into 06, and let's see. So that's the Scorpio, Taurus. Yep, you're not for a couple weeks. Something big is coming. Something big is headed our way. It's already been on us. We're just beginning to feel the real pressure. And this, I'm so hoping is true. That's maybe why we're feeling so much of the heaviness now. It's because when we go through the portal, it will change. I know that if you've never seen her read, there's a woman, she's British. Her name is Magenta Pixie. Her hair is an even weirder color than mine. And I don't think on the video, the last one she did, you see her, but she channels in 9 from, I think they're the White Wing Collective. And I've seen her a couple of other times over the years. Her stuff's really pretty accurate. It's really pretty close to what you will sense going on. Go look at her last video. She talks about these shifts and how we're losing weight, and you kind of have to let it go and not get tied to it, and not say, well, what's going to happen to this person? And this is happening to a lot of people. As this energy rises out of your power, out of your body to be released, you're going to feel some sadness. You're going to know something's leaving you, but it's for the good. So trust that. And let's see if we got. Oh, well, welcome. You'll enjoy it. It's you can have 9 candles. You can light them with us. I have one woman who does a lot of gardening with me, and she has one of my gardens that I read, and she lives in a small New York apartment. She said, there's no way I'm lighting a candle in this place. Can't say as I blame her. And let's see. Hi. Okay. Hi, how are you doing? Can you give a summary next time about the candles? Like I said, this time's been so freeform. The meditation that goes along with it acknowledges that that Lionsgate, for those of you who don't know what Lionsgate is, it's actually a period of time from like the 24th of It started like yesterday in July, and it goes to like the 12th of August. But right in the middle of all that, the most direct day that we're pointing in the right direction is on 8/8 Lionsgate. It's the lineup of the star Sirius, Earth, and Orion. And Sirius, Earth, and Orion are, if you can adjust because the Earth's wobbled some, that's what it was at the points. That's the points that the three great pyramids in Giza are pointing at. So it's been a very important for centuries, millennium. It's been known as an important point for us, and so on that day, there's just a lot of energy that moves across the universe, and we've got a lot of big planets that are changing signs. I know when I was talking with Andre Carr, he was saying we haven't had so many of the big, giant, slow-moving planets in such a short period of time, just because of how they roll around. Because they have such long periods of time that they go around the zodiac. We haven't had so many. It just happens they're rolling into new signs, which means that just happens that we're going to have a lot of major background change to us. And good. Debbie Joyce already has her candles ready. That's good. Here's a person who she wants us to get united in sanity. Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. And I mean real sanity, not when people say, I want to go back to what we had in the da-da-da era. I'm ready for us to move forward in a new way of light, in a new place of being in light. And okay, and I'm grateful to tell us about ley lines in Metatron last year. I'll tell you one thing to do about Metatron. If you think your days are dragging out and they're seeming like there's 48 hours in your 24-hour day, you can call into Metatron. And Metatron controls time. And I actually had a friend who was going on a long car trip. And I said, you ought to really just call on Metatron every day and have him, instead of Jesus take the wheel, Metatron take the wheel. Get me across the country. And she said the time went so much faster than she could have ever imagined it would have gone. And it was a long car trip. So, and let's see. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. They're not seals. They're sea otters. I'm sorry. They all look like very dark brown furry things that swim in the ocean. But it's sea otters that are stealing the surfboards in. Yeah, they are biting holes in the boards too. And they're warning the surfers not to go into those bays because they've gotten aggressive. Oh, yes. Yes, I think he will be. There's a lot of his DPS people who are just putting their hands down, and they're not doing what they're telling them to do. And what are they going to do? Shoot the officers who aren't doing it? I don't think so. He is such a mean little man. He really is. I try to have compassion for him. I realize he got hit by a tree. There are days when I really wish that tree had been bigger, but they are, I've actually seen him going to court over this. And it could be the international courts because he's violating a treaty we have with the international courts. And I agree, the animals are smart to rebel. Okay. Oh, Vicky Howell okay, Vicky, we're in for another fun 18 months, aren't we? If your husband died in 2004 and you went through a major career change in that 18-month period, it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of people are going to feel the enlightenment. I could think of several things that I know of in the news. I also think that that may be the end of the Ukrainian war. Don't have strong feelings about that. I have strong feelings on wanting it to stop, but I've had a feeling that something was going to happen in September that way. And yeah, I hope by mid-September my workload slows down because this is getting crazy. Yes, Karen, it could be your fourth nine candles because I think I've done it 5 times. One was late in December 2020, and that a lot. I didn't have a lot of followers, and that put me over 1,000 followers. So okay. Uh, Usually, Eliza, it started 9 candles. Start out as 9 red candles, and it's a feng shui prosperity activity to do and to help you focus and bring in prosperity. And I'd been taught to do it by an astrologer years ago, and I resurrected it in 2018 when I had a friend who ran a business and she was trying to figure out how to bump her sales. And I said, "Have you ever tried this?" So we went and got her 9 red candles, and I had 9 red candles at my house that I was burning at the time. And I was just doing it with people I knew that I was in contact with through my services. And I usually use 9 red candles. And then the last time I did the candles, I was told they needed to be green because we were going into a period of great growth. And they wanted me to do nine green candles. So I actually found a company that had a set of votive candles that were all shaped like different kind of cactuses. It was kind of fun. And I still have some of those, and I still burn them occasionally. Um, so this time when I was looking at it, I was told by the voices that kind of tell me what I'm doing that it was to be multicolored candles. And the closest I could come to making sure all the chakra colors were represented. But since there's 9 candles and 7 chakras, we have one that's a white candle that goes to the root, to the beginning, and a divine connection candle that's a really, really pale, beautiful yellow. So you can go get whatever kind of candles you want, and that will be just fine. And I do have in the center of my candles this time, I have a citrine for luck and abundance. I have a tiger's eye that is for incredible grounding. They're very strong stones to ground. And that particular tiger's eye, it's a little sphere. And the reason I bought it, I had other pieces of tiger's eye, but this one had all the colors you can get in tiger's eye, including the blue and the purple. And if you can't see it, unfortunately, I don't have professional color cameras. I'm sure you're shocked, but I do. You can really see all the colors in that one. And then I have an octahedron, which I've gone over before. That's the fluorites that are like little 8-sided cubes. And the reason I have them, and Danny and I discussed that the first day, when you hold it between the upper and the lower point, you have 4 corners, and that's like north, south, east, and west, or above, or to the right of me, to the left of me, to my front and my back. And then above and below are the other 2 points. And I've always thought the octahedron is a perfect form for us to think about if we want to get inside something and feel protected from all points. I don't think, I think I went looking once and I couldn't find a faith that didn't have a prayer, some light to the right to me and left to me, to the front, to the back, and above and below, protect me. I think they all have them one way or another. And I know a lot of the archangel people that work with people, they use that a lot. And okay. Yeah, there always is. But I used to work in politics I did not work on. Um, Anyone who's asking for your vote is asking for you to support the way they think, which means you either think like them 100%, or you think like them enough that you know they're going to do the right thing 99.9% of the time. Um, anyway, I I extend my spiritual readings to beyond politics. When Linda G and I had a long talk about that. Um, no, I don't think they're hanging on to power for the same reason you do. I think so many of them, were involved in January 6th and a lot of the sort of seedy things Trump was doing, and he's got all that on them. These adults, I mean, beyond the fact that some of them are so, and this is a judgment from my perspective, these people are dumber than rocks, and I like my rocks. I mean, I'm insulting my rocks by saying that, but they're terrified of getting caught. It's like watching a whole bunch of kindergartners that destroyed the room run around and try to cover it up like they can. They can't. I mean, their panic is just beyond that. And I'm glad to see people are getting things set up, and red, green, and teal. That sounds lovely. And somebody has an amethyst geode in the middle. Adventuring, yes. And a chrysocollus. That's a beautiful stone. So is blue lace agate. Blue lace agate's what's in the center of my heart egg. You can, if I turn it, you can kind of see it, and it dispenses the energy out into the malachite. Yeah, they're in deep sludge. They really are. Well, does anyone want to type in an intention you think we ought to include? I've got a few up here. Yeah, and make sure if you have your candles on anything, it's not flammable. And because I bought candles from Amazon, it's probably my problem for buying candles from Amazon, but they exploded. One of them exploded and it set my desk on fire. Yep. You can use citrine. You can use honey calcite. This is, I'm answering a question that y'all can't see. Um, it's orange. It's some of the tawnier stones you can use. You could use, this is yellow calcite. It's what I roll in the garden for the mind. That would be perfect for it. If and if you know, like, you have an intention to bring great calm into your life, I definitely look for a piece of amazonite or chrysocolla or some of the lovelier light blue stones. They do. They will help you get balance in your blue modes. Um, okay, here are some of the things I'm going to put down. People want me to put that we all create a conscious heart. I think I want to embrace changes in our bodies as our spiritual beings, because remember, we were taught that spiritual was to be held down, and we're supposed to only deal with the physical body. And so when our spirit starts becoming more active, um, our first thought is we're kind of crazy, a little nuts. Although if you've been watching my show for very long, that will not make you feel like you're nuts. And when you see all these readers and all the different perspectives they have and how they deal with energy, including Kathy McConnell, the last woman who does plasmatic energy healing, you see how many people are using energy in their life in important ways. And then, and shells are great. I put shells, and I put coral in particular, on some of my grids. And I, of course, I'll put I'll put amber. It's not, it's considered a petrified plant because it's the sap. And of course, petrified wood is beautiful. Okay, and then quick answer, yes, that will backfire. DeSantis calling VP Harris crazy. God, that talk about the pot called kennel out. Ooh. Big orange candles, and that would be great for this time of year. Loving kindness, yes, Nancy. I agree with you. We need that. Making best choice, the most benevolent outcome for ourselves and for others. And let's see. I'm going to go through all the comments after we go off air and write them all down. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a long laundry list. So if you see the show and you're not here in the live chat, you can put the intention you think we ought to be working towards to get out of 8-8 Lionsgate. How we ought to learn how to, if we could integrate spirit into ourselves, what's the area of our life that we would most like to see it change? And you can take something, and it doesn't have to be for the universal good of everyone. If there's something that individually around you could change in your life that would help you feel better about being alive every day, then go for it. And let me see. You guys are not going to make me work today. Oh, here we are. Oh, yeah, you are. All of a sudden you start running. You need, it's real easy, Pixie. You need 9 candles. You can put stones in the middle. That's something I added because I work with crystals all the time. The simplest thing to say is you need 9 candles on a safe surface. You light 1 candle with us the first day of the candle lighting. You blow it out. Then the next day you light 2 candles. You blow them out. Finally, at the end of the 9 candles, when they're all lit, we've all had our say about what intentions we want to have to be part of it. I put my 9 candles, you'll see when you see the show. Mine are sitting on a pizza stone. So if they ever blow up, I did have a candle blow up and start my desk on fire once. But now my kids said, actually my kids were all for me getting those candles. You hit a little button in there. They have a battery and they light. And I told them somehow it just didn't have the same feeling. I like blowing the candles out each day because as the smoke rises up, it's rising up to heaven and it's carrying your prayers to the archangels there too, or to whomever you believe's up there. Palladians, Andromedans, whatever. And then, so this one, oh, yeah, kyanite's beautiful. And kyanite can be jet black to a light blue, whatever colors turn you on. I agree. We need to learn how to use discernment. Okay, and church held our kind back. They had to be in charge of our spirits. Well, you're not accepting that. You want your freedom. And the world definitely could use a whole much more simple guidance, simple kindness. I like your name, Pixie Dust. I agree. And Mama Sees All has shells and an amethyst globe. I guess she's saying it's an amethyst globe. Those are beautiful. These are your thoughts. We need kindness. She's looking for my finances and love, and that's perfectly good. It's easier to love people when you're feeling secure. Allowing the shift to do what we need. Yeah, just opening yourself up to it and say, where do you think I need to go? Oh, Linda Bishop's actually made candles. So you understand when they talk about the moon waxing and getting bigger, that was a term that came from candle making. Because you get more wax on the candle, like you get more moon in the sky. Ah, hi Sharon. Okay, this is what I meant to do. Okay, I'm going to throw some stones in the garden for you, Stella. Switch to the table. Okay. Stella C is feeling locked in. I'm gonna say what's making you feel locked in, because I don't want to programming yes, no for your living space. We might miss something. So what's Stella C? Okay. Okay. You've got your spirits and path forward. Your spirits doing, it's part of it. You're feeling stuck because sometimes when our spirit's moving, this is the amethyst, which is the spirit stone in these 5. And sometimes when our spirit's moving, we don't feel it because we've been physically cut off from our spirit. So you need to open your mind and your heart to your spirit, because your spirit right now is balancing your energy so you can move ahead, and it's coming out of the earth, which is spirits transforming, but it's not quite yet finished. So that may be why you feel like you're being held back, because you're not quite done. But your mind is in a great place. Your mind is in, your thinking is all important to helping you move forward, and you need to be thinking more in the terms of the present. Signs and clues are around you right now telling you what it is. So if you're feeling like where you live is holding you back, look hard at that. I'll do a pendulum on that one too. We got your body and air. And you need to ground your thoughts and get in touch with what's really going on around you, because this is really important. The grounding changes that are happening to you right now are long term. That may be why you're feeling restricted, because you sense you're going to create some patterns you're going to live with in the long term. But that's happening to you right now. And we're going to go to your clarity, which is coming out of, you need to think about ideas you've used in the past when you felt this way, because sometimes both these spaces say you've learned lessons in the past that are much like where you are, and you found the proper solution. So you need to look at that and decide. So we're going to do over this. I'm going to ask it if a geographic change or change from your living space could make you feel better. Partly because you feel like you're taking a movement. This is yes, this is no. That's kind of Sorry, I hate it when I get meh answers, but I think your spirit's changing so much, and you're feeling awkward. You may be even feeling awkward in the space you're in. If you know what I mean, it's like this all suited me really well at one point. Let's see, where were we? Okay. Gotta hide. Okay. You're going to like Oppenheimer if you haven't seen the movie yet. If it's very interesting. I read a whole list of CC at the beginning of this, symptoms that are part of the mode where we are at this point in time, and the top things people are feeling right now is exhaustion, inability to move forward, angry, lonely, sad, frustrated, waking up between 2 and 4 in the middle of the night when your soul's been when your soul's starting to feel a lot of things. And their depressions are caught. If it's a depressed feeling you're feeling, then it's because you're looking backwards and you're not deciding to move forward. But on the other side, if you're borrowing trouble, if you're getting yourself all anxiety ridden and panic attacking by going too far in the future, what you need to do is to live in the right now. Okay. You said it very well. Blessings on your day. Um, and everybody else have a lovely, blessed day. And like I said, when you see this show up on your screen, it's announcing that this is us in our little rowboat in space. And the energy's coming to get us and help us. It's coming to get us and help us. Just remember that. It's not going to hurt us. It's going to make things better. And with that, I will not be running my Tuesday show. I'm going to look at this question real quickly. I'm not going to be running my show next Tuesday. I've got a whole lot of readings to get done, and I'm going to have to be on every night at 7 o'clock as premiere on my channel from the 29th to the 7th. And hopefully by the end of the 9 candles, you'll have figured out what you want to do for 88 Lionsgate. I want to thank all my new subscribers. I picked up a ton of them in the last week or so. And I hope that they're enjoying being here. I hope all the rest of you, my old stalwarts, many of the names are familiar to me, but I'm seeing new ones all the time. So it's good. And now this is the one I was given a surgical option for high pressure on one of my eyes, and I'm stuck on what to do. You need to meditate and talk to yourself inside and see how you feel about it. I have a feeling that their option may be the best one for you, but it's not my eyes. And, trust me, they told me one time when I was having my arrhythmia problems over a year ago, I had to take this pill that they were very concerned where my blood pressure was during the day. And I took the pill, and after 15 days, I'd gained 20 some pounds. And I quit taking the pill because that was not helping me. So, but I took their advice and I did what they said. And but I was watchful of my own concerns about it. For you, I think you need to meditate and go into yourself. I think you have the answer. You know whether you should go ahead with this. And I can't weigh all those options for you, but I really trust you guys to make your own good decisions about things. And everybody have a good day. I'm going to end the broadcast now, and I appreciate y'all coming over. Bye-bye.